8:37, so I'm not sure why we spend so much time to eat the noodle, man. That's terrible. So you have a conversation, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, just. I mean, kind of off what I was talking about in the car, just learning, just going along in simple things in life, but not so simple, and the fact that I'm trying to learn how to relate to others in a way that I'm more aware, even how I'm relating to them.
Yeah.
Even just figuring out things that I kind of don't even think about that I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you heard the word called introvert, extrovert? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to think about that a lot when I grew up.
Mm.
Chinese called 内向和外向。内向 introvert. 内 is inside. 外 is yeah outside. So 内向外向。Oh my, I'm a typical introvert. Why not change that? So I decided I got to change that. So I think a lot of people when they're young they're actually introvert by nature. So,
Right.
Because like everything else, certain things you can learn and change that. So I still think I'm an introvert person, but extrovert it's a life habit. You pick it up. It's not something by nature you in tune to it. So yeah, certain people don't talk to people, don't end up with people. They were not restful. So like I'm good. So yeah, is that making sense to you? So yeah, I can keep things to myself. Not to myself in a bad way. I'm saying going my own life without involve others a lot doesn't bother me that much. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I'm definitely kind of the opposite of that at times, because
Is that right?
even the past few days, like I usually like I'm in my room sometimes, and sometimes a lot of nights or days people will all go to bed or be away, and I really don't like being by myself.
Is that right? Well, then you're an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I mean, and that's the thing. I could survive and be all right with being by myself for a while, but I really don't.
I don't think that is good differentiation to have.
Yeah.
But it's good to think about your behavior. The impact you have, how the relation. I think I call it RQ, right? So go ahead. I don't want to interfere with you. I'm just trying to share the same struggle with you when I grew up. So I think it's good to think about those things.
Yeah. Definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I just kind of realized I really don't like to be alone, and so I've tried to really just try to figure out how to have a real relationship with the Father, in the sense that he's.
That's different. I think there's always a balance. Let me first use my example. I always want to share things and hang around with the people I like. I'm not an extrovert, don't like people. So, I want to have a solid friend, solid relationships. Oftentimes, I have fewer close friends. We do things together, so share things together. I don't remember my decisions in life has ever been processed basically on merely my own. So I don't know how to explain it. I grew up with that. That's not always the case with my siblings either. So they're pretty independent person. They make their choices, decisions on their own. So in time, but me are different. I don't know why. So I think have bigger siblings is a huge. Also, you grow younger. You don't necessarily presume you're a natural leader or whatever. You have to do things to prove something. So I try to tell you something here, okay? So so one of the biggest things is learn to treat elders or others as a blessing rather than competition or a threat. I think American culture is very difficult to adapt to that. I think that you don't have that struggle, which is beautiful. So you might have part of it, but I think that receiving very well. Because see, Esther don't have that struggle, right? I mean, she were her own person. Let's not deny that. You are your own person either. But if people like me, people like your big brother, your parents come to you, tell you, hey, Elijah, let's talk about something very serious. And we think we need to have some counsel for you or some correction for you even, so you don't take as offense, right? So yeah, so you take wow, they really care about me, they love me, they wanted to improve me, right? So that posturing is very healthy.
I think I actually have an exact example of that.
Oh, is that right?
That happened the other day, which is actually something I was planning on sharing. So. Yeah. So I mean, I've been working with Noah at Granny's. He's been teaching me how to cook.
Yeah.
And what was that? Saturday. I was because I've been cooking for a few weeks now, but like this Saturday, I was particularly just kind of messing up a lot and doing the work, which is, I mean, understandable. Yeah. I'm new to the job, but I've been doing not as bad as that in previous days. So something was a little off on that day. Just with my performance and just overall, even attitude, I think. And Noah was kind of getting on to me about it because it was really busy there, and I was kind of not doing that great. And I wasn't trying to do bad, but I definitely wasn't maybe trying my hardest to be, really try to succeed in what I was doing. And I think even through his kind of not nagging, but like kind of disciplinary, like you need to do it this way, I kind of first took that and I don't think I took an offense to it. It was more like I was
defensive attitude.
Really defensive, kind of just upset. I wasn't upset at Noah. I was just really upset at myself and kind of upset.
Sure.
I was indirectly upset at Noah because it's just kind of how that worked with the attitude I was in, which wasn't good. And I had to, I almost let it take my day, and I almost because I was gonna leave early that day as well. And I thought I was just gonna, just let it drag me down. But I really, because even earlier that day I had prayed for, trying to take each moment of my day and live it before the Lord. So I thought about that, and I could literally see like how the enemy was just right there doing something in that moment, and it was very refreshing in a way, I guess, to say I overcame you, because I saw you, and I just kicked you out of the way, and that's I felt like that was a pretty good day that day, because I really overcame kind of the enemy's attack on me that day. And at the same time, Noah was even, I think me and Noah had a good moment there too, because he realized, and he tried to even explain to me that I wasn't, like, he came in my room later that night.
That's wonderful.
To apologize to me, and there was nothing really to apologize about, because Noah.
It's good to talk about it, those are relationships. That's beautiful to see that happening between the two of you. Those moments build huge relationships. The brothers that hold build sometimes through conflict, hardships. So.
Yeah, really. That's another thing in life that I feel like some of the most real relationships in my life are those. Like if I'm not good friends with somebody at first, and then I become friends with them, I know those people are like people I have a little bit of a problem with at first, and I become friends with them. Those are always the people that are the closest to me.
Oh, wow.
And I've also noticed the people who are friends right off and everything seems great right off. Those are the people that are
don't steal off.
No, yeah, they're not genuine. It's interesting.
Yeah, true.
But
that's a very good observation there. So,
yeah. Because I don't know how to explain it, but there's something interesting about that.
Yeah. Something maybe tied with your early reflection about your impression to people. You said unapproachable or something later. Actually, a little bit prideful maybe if you don't appear to supposedly be approachable to be. I don't know that word being used against you or anything.
No.
I have a hard time to get to know your dad in the early days. Your dad is very excited about a certain topic, but he's very slow in expressing his personal feelings about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's goofy. He like you. He's very profound in his feelings. If you don't encounter him like that, you never know. So yeah.
That's the same with me.
I'm
very similar to that.
That's why I allude to your dad. Yeah. I don't want to talk my life too much, but it's just you talk things. You invoke my memory.
It makes sense because it's kind of.
I get to know him in a very private, very affectionate, and very direct way, rather than the image others perceive him or he put out there. I'm not trying to say that, try to be somebody, but he was in a position, had to be a face, a voice, even a leadership for something. So it was young, and people, don't just really always accommodating his role, his posture. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of who he is. So to look at him from more attentive, or I don't know, you're a preacher, and when you stand in public speak, everybody receive you differently. So
that's an interesting concept actually, because I think that's something that God has this kind of idea of portrayal of self and who we are. Yeah. That's been a main topic, I think, for the past few months. Because can
you really define that a little bit?
Like you're talking about how we portray ourselves.
Oh, you portray yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Present yourself to others.
Right. Because remember even the dream I had a few weeks ago about those police interrogating me and trying basically thinking. Like when we didn't meet that one morning and I called you and I told you a few dreams I had.
Yeah, but you might want to remind me.
No, yeah.
I'm so not trying to be disrespectful and telling you.
No, I get it.
Sorry. Yeah.
It was the dream I had about those two. I was trying to drive to your place and those two police people stopped me and they tried to tell me who I was and who they thought I was. Remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's okay.
At all. I'm so sorry.
But
give me
the point of the dream was that it was about how.
Oh, they try to tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And you know who you are. Yeah. Therefore, you're not bothered by it. I remember a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a point God is trying to point in my life right now to realize not only who I am but why I am who I am. Why has He?
That's very good meditation.
Yeah. Why has God called me to be a part of this community? And why has God called me to be?
That's very nice.
Yeah, and some other thing God has revealed to me about even the evangelistic kind of things.
Yeah.
The preaching, the proclaiming.
I don't want to use that word too early for you, so because that word carries so many.
It does.
Connotations.
Yeah.
In religious circles, especially.
Yeah, and that's actually what Dan was talking to me after that Tuesday night when he was talking to me about that.
Don't try to be an evangelist.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that you're going to be an evangelist. The Lord will make you an evangelist. You can't help it. So.
And that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Just bring it before God and not try to understand it with my mind.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good time to talk about those things actually. For example, the evangelist. I think the first thing is not to learn how to present yourself. The first thing is, I want to know the Bible.
Yeah.
I want to know the Lord. on the passion for souls. So that's the first thing in nurture. If you have an idea of evangelist supposed to be will find people with eloquent speech, whatever, so go out there doing things. That's a word perverted way to thinking about what it means to be an evangelist.
I think even
I'm so sorry to be blunt with you.
No,
Yes,
I'm not even
yeah.
really. I'm not really knowledgeable in that
That's
either.
okay.
So,
I understand. Just talking about called a default culture. The Christianity culture is so many defaults. I was talking to your mom. This is it's faulty. It's wrong. It's word disorienting because allured and distracted many young hearts. They have a heart for the Lord, want to serve God, but they give them the wrong avenue to express themselves.
The wrong motives, I think, is a huge problem.
Sometimes the motive is absolutely right. The intention, the calling is right, but the wrong avenue. Do you understand what the word avenue means?
What do you mean by avenue?
Avenue is like a road to something.
They're doing it the wrong way?
Yes, exactly. Wrong way. Okay. It's a way, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, wrong expression, so.
Okay.
Yeah. How to explain that? Evangelist is a good example. When evangelist, what your idea of evangelist, where it came from? You will have a very hard time to understand it. The word is before modern evangelist showed up. TV program, doing ministry. The evangelist, Jesus was an evangelist. So do you see Jesus always have a lot of people in his inner, is this world of cloud, massively converted people? That's our idea of evangelist, however. So.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people's.
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
No, that's okay. In the old days, the prophet called evangelist as well. Basically, the one carries the good news to others called evangelist. Am I right? So, is the prophet always welcomed, popularly embraced? Prophet always persecuted, misunderstood. So, the evangelist idea is wrong in many designation in our modern day thinking, because what we use that word has translated into some ministry models or ministry assignments. So
as a little question, because I was reading in Hebrews and it talks about Jesus being a priest in the order of Melchizedek. Does that have any correlation to evangelistic?
Yes, evangelist, exactly. In his priesthood, that's in heaven ministry, priesthood. But on earth, become a fivefold, if you will. And he's a person five. There's a hand. Hand, right hand gone, rather. So, but this is all imagery. Don't kind of pay attention too much to imagery. But the real message is, I know you have the hand rise out from the desert somewhere. Yeah,
that's the vision I have for you.
Exactly.
No much other hand.
There you go.
Small hands grabbed on.
Okay, yeah. So that's apostle ministry. Started the whole hand. We often think apostle is the one the thumb. Actually, it play a thumb role for sure, but it's also hold the whole hand together. So, stop it. So you think about, there is an order of administration of things, administration, whatever word you use, in the heaven realm, right? It come to in the realm of his people on earth. So how do you play it out? Somebody has know the vision or the essence of culture from heaven. Then he gonna say, this is good news. Would you like to become this people? That's evangelist now. So after they converted or become a follower with all this, can I teach you this way? That's a teaching or shepherding. A teaching this way, that teacher, right? So, we like to follow this way, to conform to this way. That's a shepherding, pastoral. So after that, God also ready to confirm the messages. Heaven and earth have to confirm together. So, or sometimes, God reveal things about who you are, the body, who it is. Yes, there's another witness in a sense, as called prophetic message. So that's why apostle and prophet, like two legs, so walking, two hands working together. That's the wrong way to put it. But in basically, prophetic is someone is able to speak from a heavenly realm to earthly realm to confirm the things that either initiated or in operation or heading towards. I mean, it's a testimony, right? So
I think it's also really important that the person, what that they live, what they're teaching or sharing.
What?
Like that they maybe that they themselves even are a life representative of the way they're trying to teach.
Absolutely. God will gift them or make them to be like that. But you can't concentrate on personality or individuality of person, rather. Peter is Peter. Peter is so different than John. John is so different than Thomas. How you reconcile that? Is that making sense to you? So James is also apostle. So it's not about personality stuff.
Sure.
It's about whether the guest essence, the operation of heaven or not. Right. So that's the other message that what it means. Do you have the culture endowment? Most like you look at the people, you understand even they long for the culture, but somehow they some tailored or equipped in a certain realm they're gifted with. Yeah. Strongly gifted with, I'm talking about. You and me have multiple gifts, but there are some outstanding gifts, So Paul said, I'm a messenger, herald of the gospel. So he was a preacher. I mean, he was always a preacher, So then he said, an apostle of Jesus Christ. So he's apostle. Then he said, I'm a teacher. So he identified himself as a teacher, as apostle, and what? As a herald of the gospel. Herald of the gospel is an evangelist and a preacher. Teacher also preacher converse together. But he never called himself as an evangelist. But Philip was a prophet a little bit. Philip's daughter was all prophets, prophetic gifted. Philip the evangelist, called the evangelist. Is that making sense to you? So, yeah. Now, Barnabas was a teacher. At the same time as an encourager, so he was a little prophetic. Those days prophetics agreed to do with encouragement. So that Barnabas is a very resourceful man. His family owns a lot of land in Cyprus. It's a whole island, actually. Almost belonged to their whole family. So he was a rich, well-to-do person. So Barnabas. So he supplied a lot of finances for the early missions, Paul and others involved. So he was a great administration because he gave up his assets for the early church. The Bible didn't say it, but he obviously managed a lot of finances and resources for the early church. He was a great administrator. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know a lot about that Barnabas.
Yeah.
I don't know much about.
Let's look at another person, Peter. We often think Peter is a rough person, not educated. That's so wrong to reading Peter. Peter was a very shrewd, capable, and well-established local community. So much so that overshadowed other families locally. So it was he was like a very eminent figure in local community. He has a house. Everybody gather in. How many people have a house gather in ancient days?
Not a lot.
Yeah, accompanied a lot of people, a lot of guests.
Right.
Yeah. You think about it. That's a big homestead.
Right.
So how to maintain that?
Obviously had to have some kind of.
Yeah. Why everybody showed up his door, not the other's door?
Right.
So he was very familiar with the local congregation, means the Pharisees or whatever the kind of religious establishment there. He was a wonderful businessman. Now, in ancient days, you don't own a boat. You own a boat, you are a rich man. in ancient days, you can go out to the fish, So, fisherman was famous. The fish fishing business was mainly for fresh consumption. Much of it is stored and changed into some nasty soup. I mean, it's transported all over the Mediterranean area. Yes, it's shipped to Romans to eat. So because the Asian people don't have food, they're merely able to maintain meat. So when fish is salted and fermented, to use a fermenting process. And the huge factories to produce the fermented fish stings, but it ships all over the world, all over the Roman world. So it's one of the staple sauce, whatever. So remember, Asian days don't have spices,
right?
Don't have a salt, don't have a lot of things. So there are certain staple things made from fish. So fish, I'm just talking, okay? So yeah, just like wine. Today we drink wine for entertainment. Asian day drink wine for what? For daily consumption water or liquid. So we have different idea of understanding what the bread, or fish, or wine and salt is about. So because we don't think along the term. So, but those are major materials, everyday consumption in frankincense, for example. That's incense, right? You can smell incense anywhere. Why? Because nobody take a shower for a long time. Everything's stinky. Yeah. The street is stinky. Think about those animal dung. So yeah. I mean, everything. Nobody really always keep themselves clean. So
sure.
You see my point? The road will be muddy and smelly all the time. So especially in the city. So what they do? They use the incense and frankincense or whatever to cover it up. So that's why the smell is so important, because a person go to areas, many people gathered, congregate together, that destined to be smelly. So basically, so therefore it's very hard to live in a city because everybody knows it's smelly. So
yeah,
it's talk. Okay? So that's why the smell is so important to those people. So they get used to smelling. Suddenly smells good. What do you feel? Like so you know the difference. So we veered off some topic, but what I'm saying that you need to understand a little bit of history to know who the disciples actually were. I think it's one of the most unhealthy things about modern Christianity. We don't actually know who they are. We use our own lens, our own default, our own imaginations to think we know Jesus as disciples. The society is so different than we think, especially in the popular Christianity, especially in Reformed Christianity. But Reformed and Catholic has very distorted view of who Jesus is to begin with. Not real, basically. Dion says my point is it's built on religious imagination most of the time. So they theorize Jesus, beautify Jesus. I'm not saying Jesus is not beautiful, don't have great thinkings, but it's not the real Jesus. It's a Jesus in their own making. So, like Mother Mary, right? How it can become this eminent figure in Catholic system?
Right.
What driven that?
Right.
There's a spirit behind. There's an attitude behind. There's a religious zeal and need to do that, appealing to people. Is that making sense to you? The same thing is not departed from the early Protestant traditions.
Right.
They're still under that influence. This expressed differently. So, therefore, they look at Jesus, look at Peter, more likely through their own perceptions, own eyes.
Right.
So, I don't want to necessarily humanize, oh, downgrade Jesus Christ and the early days, but you need to know who they are. They are. James said Elijah is like you and me, like a man. So he was practicing the religious pious leans his day. The people cast on Elijah because they think Elijah in a very different way. They come to Jesus often thinking, what do you think about Elijah? Who is Elijah? So Jesus had to correct them continually. So James, one of the insider, if you will, of Jesus' thoughts, said, Elijah, hey guys, your idea of Elijah is wrong. John the Baptist is Elijah, but you don't see him as Elijah. Jesus said, come in the spirit Elijah. If you want it, he's your Elijah. Jesus tried to tell them, it's just like your day, contemporaries. It's no different. You don't cast into an image you're making. Don't beautify or idolize him in a way with your religious connotation or pious thinking. But today, unfortunately, that is a norm for Christianity. That's abnormal. That's the normal abnormality. Because everybody talk Jesus Christ, thinking Jesus Christ, even they try to humanize him in many ways, but they never get rid of this religious zeal. I don't know where it's color, it's distortion. They're never able to identify, for example, Elijah or Noah with all the flaws, sins, and waywardness, struggle, actually can be a son of God, that kind of thing. But that's the message. We're common people. Somehow the Lord take hold of it. He can then make us set apart, so for him, with that, I do want to encourage you. So don't to hear your morning prayer said you want to leave everything for the Lord and go through the day with struggle, conversation with your brother. That is not normal. You would think it's normal. It's very seldom happen in Christian circles. It's very seldom happen in young people. But for you, it's just everyday life. Those are things people will write a book about. I'm saying. People write the biography, autobiographies, they will highlight those things as something very outstanding happened to a good person or godly person. But for us as well, everyday
just the beginning of something
exactly.
to achieve.
Exactly. The vision, the dreams you had, people will build a ministry, wrote a book upon it. But for you, what? It's another page of your life. I'm saying, think about it. I don't deny other people's life in the Lord, the validity and credibility. But however, maybe sparse poor compared to some of us walking in. So doesn't make us perfect.
Doesn't make us better.
Exactly. That's why James, we need to come to James talking about Elijah is like you and me. So Peter and John, just like a man like you and me. So you don't need to beautify them. That's a fallacy of Christianity through the ages. They never understand the more they exhort and respect Peter in that way, the more distorting the gospel, distorting what is truly the intent, the passion of those servants of God. For the eye, what is that for? So go ahead and wrap it up for us.
Amen. Yes, Lord, I thank you for your way, Father. I thank you that we can seek to speak to you, Lord, and reach for you, Lord.
Mhm.
Lord, I pray that we would not simply rely on our own strength in life, Lord, that our strength would come from you, Father, and that our daily attempts and yearnings for you, Lord, would be, Lord, not a struggle, Lord, but something that is naturally desired to our body or to our spiritual man. Just like needing to eat food, Lord, we need to, Lord, receive from you, Lord, and
You know how beautiful it is to like that.
Mm.
When a big brother come to work with you, to teach you life skill. You have struggles, emotional clash, whatever, come to talk to you and
yeah,
how many people have that, you know? I wish I could have that, you know. As a young brother, even, you know, so my brother loves me and care about me deeply, but I never had the chance to work with them like that, you know, so to be taught by them, to be, you know, instructed by them, so yeah, that's a beautiful thing, your brothership, your brotherhood. So yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Lord, I thank you for brotherhood, Lord, and even in my own family, Lord, even those not in my immediate family, Lord, I thank you for the relationships you put in my life to affect me and for I to affect them, Lord, and maybe encourage them. And I pray that we would all continue to follow the path that you've set out for us, Lord, and that we yearn for the same purpose, which is yours in your kingdom. Lord, I bless your holy name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Elijah.
Mm.
Well,